Do you want to know the dark truth behind Halloween? Watch as Pastor Kinsey brings the fire of talking about the dark secrets of Halloween. But first, she's going to start with what America was built on in biblical facts. And next, we'll be hearing from ex-Satanist John Ramirez.
America
Watch
was
this.
founded on godly principles. So in Deuteronomy 18, 9 through 10, the Israelite people were about to go in and possess a new land that God was giving them. God was giving the Israelites the land of promise, the Canaan land, and he gave them, before he let them go in, he gave them some very detailed instructions about how were they going to act entering into a new culture. One thing he said is this, let's look at it, Deuteronomy 18, starting with verse 9. When you come into the land that the Lord your God is giving you, you shall not learn to follow the abominations of those nations. In one translation, it says, be very careful not to imitate the detestable customs of the pagans living there. So before God gave them the promised land, he gave them an instruction. And it was to, once you get there, be sure that you keep your Christian perspective. Be sure that you keep your biblical worldview, because they're going to try to...
See, I would go as far as they already have changed us by the perspective of influencing us of Halloween. They have such influence on us to promote Halloween through the demonic agenda of just making it seem like it's so good, but it's really, really dark and twisted. Now watch what John Ramirez, an ex-high priest Satanist who talked with the devil face to face, has to say. Watch this.
Little boy, 8 years old, demon church, learned being trained by high-ranked devil worshipers, warlock, and spiritual witches, training me to know how to take over territory, demonic contract, different demon territory, demons, principalities, first, second heaven. I was being trained all the way to the age of 35, sold my soul to the devil, got married in Halloween, had a demonic wedding in Halloween. I baptized my daughter to the dark side at the age of 11. So that was my whole entire life. I mean, I breathed, ate, and slept witchcraft. Astral projecting. I will astral project over region, leave my body, astral project, curse the region, because if I can curse the region, I can capture the people.
Knowing what you came from and what you used to do, you're pretty discouraged that you see Christians celebrating Halloween. Why?
I don't know how you can cheat on God. I don't know how you can cheat on the Lord Jesus Christ, because I don't see Satan is coming on Good Friday and coming and hanging out with us, right? You know, I got married in Halloween, I had a demonic wedding. Why would you put your kids, your family, why would you put your purpose, your destiny, why would you put your whole eternity in a demonic altar?
Well, people say it's just fun, candy, kids are having costumes on. But you say it's much more.
The candy, you know, I never shared this before, but these candy, people from different walks of life pray over these candies. Witchcraft, they pray over the candies. You knock on people's door, you don't know the person that you knock on, know she's a witch. Okay, you don't know she's a witch, she's doing Wicca, she's practicing New Age, and you knock on her door and you coming in legal rights of this witch or this wall, or this person's practicing this stuff, giving you this kind of candy. Mm-hmm. Now you taking that stuff home, you put that stuff into your body. Mm-hmm. Amen? And on top of that, I'm Tom Levain said, out of his mouth, you know, he was the ruler of the Church of Satan, right? Out of his mouth, he said, I want to thank every Christian parent for allowing their child to celebrate Halloween one time a year. The devil's Halloween.
Now here's the thing, when the leader of the Church of Satan is saying that he's happy that Christians celebrate Halloween, you have to understand that the Halloween is the celebration of evil and demonic things. I'm telling you right now, what Pastor Kinsey says next, she brings such fire and revelation and understanding about the dark truths about Halloween. She deep dives. You are not going to want to miss this. Check this out.
These people called the Druids. Can you say that with me? Druids. Druids. Now, before Jesus was even alive on the earth, these people called Druids were active in the earth. It was a people group, a group of people from Europe. And what these Druids were is they were a pagan group of people who believed in practicing all these certain types of traditions. And every single one of those traditions that they practiced are directly derived into what we get our Halloween traditions in America today. For instance, they would sacrifice their children in honor of the dead. They believed that every year on one night that the spirits of those who had passed would get to come back and do certain things. They established trick-or-treating. They established these bonfires, which is where we get bonfires. They established all traditional like music ritual around a fire to a certain god. So they had all these things that they were practicing, and they were a group of people called the Druids. So all of this was established like pre-Jesus. Old Testament, this was going on. And we see it here in Deuteronomy 18:10. Because it says this, there shall not be found among you anyone who makes his son or daughter pass through the fire, or one who practices witchcraft, or a soothsayer, or interprets omens, or a sorcerer. He was dealing with this people group, this pagan group of people who were doing all of these things. And historically, the people who were doing this were called Druids. And they would celebrate the festival of the dead, which is where we get our modern day practice of Halloween.
See, so now you have the dark truth of where Halloween originated from, a demonic, sick, and twisted thing. But a lot of people go, well, what about Christmas, David? What about Easter, David? What about this? This is why I love Pastor Kinsey preaching on this. First off, you can get this full teaching on Pastor Stan Pody's, my pastor, amazing man of God, on his YouTube, and it's called Demonic Things or Demonic something. If you want to watch her full teaching, which I highly suggest you go do. What she touches on next with Christmas and all the people saying, well, what about Christmas? What about this? Check this out. It's going to blow your mind.
If Halloween is pagan, then what about Christmas? Anybody ever heard that one? Well, Christmas tree's this and Christmas this. Okay, I'm going to give you a little info on that, okay? First of all, you need to know this. The word pagan does not always entail demonic. The word pagan does not always entail demonic. Something can be pagan in definition of that it's not original to Christian. For example, celebrating birthdays is classified under pagan holiday. Did you know that? Because it's not original to Christianity, it also doesn't promote an evil demonic agenda, right? It's like, happy birthday, it's like some demon coming up. It's just a birthday. Wedding traditions, most common wedding traditions that you know of or you've probably had in your wedding, they're classified as pagan because they're not original to Christianity. An original Christian wedding, the Jewish way, was a little different. It's definitely not what you think of when you think of a wedding. It also doesn't promote demonic evil agendas. So to celebrate a birthday or a wedding or Easter or Christmas is not the same as celebrating a demonic pagan feast. Can we all logically agree on that? Even though some of them have traditions that are pagan due to the fact that they are not solely Christian. So I'll tell you this, Halloween celebration is pagan as in it is demonic. Today's celebration of Halloween is pagan as in it is demonic. But people have incorporated pagan or non-Christian tradition into our tradition of Christmas, which is celebrating the birth of Jesus, right? For example, Christmas trees. Have you ever heard the whole Christmas tree thing? Like, well, Christmas trees are demonic too, and blah, blah, blah. Well, people say that it's a demonic thing, but actually, once you start to research it, it's very hard to back that up. It's very hard to back that up through substantial evidence. All throughout the Old Testament, evergreen trees were a symbol of prosperity. All throughout the Old Testament. There used to be a Roman festival. The reason that people say this is because there used to be a Roman pagan festival in December, not the 31st, but a few weeks leading up to it, that had to do with pagan ritual where they would bring evergreen trees into their home, and the holiday had to do with human sacrifice. And then in Norse mythology, they incorporated evergreen trees as well. There's a bunch of different mythological type things that incorporate evergreen trees. But the biblical Christian association with evergreen trees is prosperity and long life.
See, there's a big difference of the understanding when you actually do the research to stuff to really grab hold of it. There's a lot of things that are pagan, but there's a difference of paganism and demonic paganism like Halloween. Watch as she touches on this last subject. It is absolute fire.
But the Bible does say that in the last days, some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. So there are in the world today seducing spirits, and there are entire doctrines that come from the devil. So there are things happening in the world that we call demonic things. Demonic things. Now, how this plays into Halloween is that we talked about last week. The devil's avenue is through the culture, right? If the devil wants to get a point across or an agenda across, he usually doesn't manifest in full demonic form with like ears and a pitchfork and the devil. No, he usually manifests how? Through the culture, through popular media, through politics, through TV shows, through books, through things like that. And then witchcraft is spoon-fed through this young generation through the avenue of media, social media, liberal arts, movies, all these type of things. But the devil's avenue in this day and age is through popular culture. So we have to be aware of that and know what popular culture that we are to abstain from as Christians and what we are supposed to partake of as Christians.
See, I absolutely love Pastor Kinsey. She brings such fire and revelation and understanding and really breaking down the understanding of why. The devil comes as an angel of light. He parades it as, oh, kids get to dress up and get candy. It's beautiful. But there's a dark, twisted, sick side behind Halloween. And it's okay to celebrate some pagan things. There's a lot of pagan things that we do that no one will ever touch on that's not demonic, but there's a difference when it's built up off of evil and sacrifice and demonic evil agenda. When you have an ex-high priest Satanist telling you how bad it is. When you had the leader of the satanic church saying it's a great thing when they do it. It makes them happy. It makes the devil happy. And yet people fight it because they want to hold on to the paganism of the demonic more than they want anything else. You have to draw a line in the sand of what you're willing to stand for. Are you willing to stand for the things of the devil? Look at abortion. What do they parade abortion as? Oh, it's preserving life. It's this, it's that. Really, it's sacrificing your child for a better life. It's child sacrifice. But if we call it abortion, it doesn't sound as bad. See, when we call Halloween demonic, it sounds really bad because, oh, it's just Halloween. Ooh, fall festival. You can't change the origins of what a demonic thing was. You can abstain from it. As Pastor Kinsey talked about, we got to be set apart as children of God. Subscribe or follow for more content like this. And if you'd like to partner with me, click the link down below.